Hello, my fantastical friends. I have a wonderfully fantastical story for you. I don't actually know that because I haven't read it yet, but I just really wanted to say the word fantastical like 3 times in a row. And I did. So, let's get into this story. This is from our wonderful friend River, and they've sent us a fantastical story. I got 4 now. I went for 4. I did. I pulled it off. Let's just read. I don't know what I'm doing. From River, this is It's Good to Have a Mentor. Hello, sweethearts. Moon. Hello. Sango, and all of my wonderful family. I didn't know that I would come forward about this like this, but it's something that I want to talk about for a few different reasons. I'm not by any means a spokesperson for the community I'll be talking about here. I never wanted to make my identity someone else's problem or a big topic of conversation. I just want to say I am who I am and be done with it, but sometimes that's not an option. Some of you are in the Discord and know that I was outed by a family member, but that was only to one person and it wasn't done out of malice. It was more to do with a lack of understanding of what that implies. It does remove me from the narrative, and I'm open to explaining what it means if anyone needs that. This isn't about my sexuality. I'm actually trans. I identify as non-binary, and I prefer people use they, them pronouns with me. I chose a name for myself, and it's a name that my parents would have given me had I been born with different parts. It was actually my grandfather's name, and I never got the chance to know him. But, I understand this is kind of off topic, my dad wants to produce his memoir, and I look forward to the chance to become closer to my grandfather in that way. This is why I chose his name as well, but you can all still call me River. That's very special to me too. There's a river in a wood down the street from where my dad grew up, and I sometimes take friends there when they visit me. I was given that nickname by a friend of mine who commented whenever the word river is ascribed to a person or a song, it means that they're part of a system of support that grounds people. It's a lot of what rivers do, so being called that meant a lot to me, and I still use it now. I found out that I identify as non-binary in college. By that, I mean I discovered the language that could best use to express how I feel about myself in college. This is why I wanted the label. The label, for me, meant that I could utilize the power of that language. I wanted people to use they, them pronouns with me, but I didn't have a means by which to express that. There were trans people who went to my college, friends of mine even, and I'm sure at least some of them would have talked me through a few things. One person in particular was a trans woman who is very admirable for many reasons. She achieved so much in nonprofit systems for trans youth and in systems of government. She's also overcome a great deal, and I can't and will never discount that. I've been there and will always be there for her in times of need. But I can never tell her who I am because a big part of her is a gatekeeper. Oh, jeez. Let me explain. When I started going through what I was going through with discovering how I felt and who I am, I started asking her more questions. I asked her how she came to see herself as who she is. I asked her what she thought about certain public figures and their statements about the trans community. I really needed a mentor, and I think if anyone could have been one at that time, she would have been. However, sometimes when I'd ask certain things, nothing invasive about her, I'd get hit with the statement, "You don't understand because you're not trans." I didn't want to correct her. She was especially convinced by this because my friend group and myself prefer to spend time with friends who were in fraternities. I admire these guys too. They're just wonderful people as individuals, and I really wanted my friends to be friends. So I offered to the trans woman I spoke of an introduction with one of my friends from one of the fraternities on just an individual level. And then she said, "I don't like guys from fraternities. You don't understand because you're not trans." Guess which one of these people knows I'm trans and refers to me by my preferred name and pronouns? Unfortunately, this is how I found out about trans medicalism as well. There's a community of trans people who, particularly to place cis people and show themselves as palatable to them, believe that only people who take hormones have severe dysphoria, and medically transition are valid as trans people. I've never believed this was true, but I was exposed to that side of the community, and people like Calvin Guerra, these people feel so horribly about themselves that they project their experience of being trans onto the entire community when that's not accurate to everyone. It confused me a great deal, and I wasn't sure what to do with that information. Being trans means, in some, that one does not identify with the gender they were born with, and there are many ways of expressing that. Gender dysphoria can happen, but it's not a requirement. Gender euphoria can also happen. To clarify, I'm going to use an example. If someone has historically referred to me by more feminine-leaning descriptor before finding out that I'm trans, but then after finding out that I am, started using something more unisex, that's going to give me gender euphoria and make me feel safer. For example, sister versus sibling. There are other ways a person can experience gender euphoria, but that's a big one. There are also many reasons that someone might choose not to medically transition, and it's not a requirement either. If you've met a trans person, you haven't met every trans person. You've met a single trans person. For a lot of people, using someone's pronouns means safety. That said, if a trans person hears someone misgender another trans person out of malice, they'll probably not feel safe around that person. Again, this is something that's difficult to explain. So what I'm going to say next is very important to me personally. There are definitely those who do not feel that way. Sometimes people might feel that a person who states they identify as trans isn't being genuine about that. However, the person who states they identify this way, gives pronouns, etc., if someone with intent does not use those pronouns out of protest, it sets a precedent. It makes me feel unsafe. It's unintentional, but it's gatekeeping. Any form of gatekeeping, whether this is about trans medicalism or something like that, can negatively affect a trans person and make them feel unsafe about the world around them. There's a difference between doing something out of ignorance and doing something out of malice. I see it all the time, and I know it well. For anyone in this community who is also trans, if you know me, I want to know what I can do to help you feel safe, because I know I'd want the same. Thank you all, River. This is actually a really interesting thing. I'm only just learning a lot about this stuff. I mean, obviously I knew trans people existed before I started doing this, but I didn't know a lot personally. So meeting a lot more people has helped with a lot of things. Meeting different people on different parts of the spectrum has helped me learn more about them. And, I mean, you guys know me, I love to learn. I say a lot of things, but if somebody says that, these are the pronouns I like and this is what I like to be referred to as, I tend to just roll with it. The biggest one, or rather the biggest example I guess I can give, what someone would consider me not doing something, following someone's proper pronouns, would be the entire series I did on Sonichu and talking about Chris-chan. That's not me trying to misgender them. That's me trying to explain a timeline. And it's difficult with Chris because with a lot of people, from what I understand, when they transition, they're still the same person, it's just that their gender identity is different. But with Chris, the main reason a lot of people specifically go from referring to something Chris did as a male to Chris being or doing something as a female is because it's almost like they're two completely different people. They have a lot of the same mannerisms, but it's like as if Chris just became a different human. So that's kind of the reason why I did that there. But I don't really, mind. If somebody is like, these are my pronouns, this is what I want, and I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, that's fine. It's you. I'll do that because, you're a person and I respect you. I don't have a problem with that. I honestly think it's kind of funny that if I don't think I will get pushback for that, but if I do, I often think it's kind of funny specifically because, I mean, you're going to argue with the cartoon horse on the internet about whether or not they should believe people. I mean, you believe in me, don't you? And I'm literally magic. Prove I'm not magic. You can't. I know. I'm actually a god. So, I just kind of, I kind of roll with it. If somebody tells me that they're, they prefer gender neutral, I can talk, I can use words. Pronouns, yeah, okay, that's you. And I'll do that. That's fine. And it's called having basic respect. It's not... I've heard all the nonsense arguments against these things, like, oh, well, it's different because you don't know this, or you don't know that, or it's just not something It's like, well, dude, just generally be nice to people. Who cares? It's not going to hurt you to say a different word and treat somebody with a little bit of respect, And if you can't even go that tiny micron into respect for someone that you don't even know, hell, dude, I'd hate to see the way you treat people you like. Kind of sets a horrible precedent. There's certain things, I guess, I'm trying to come up with the proper words. There is a lot of gatekeeping in a lot of different communities, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, River. That's messed up. With the other thing, I've heard that kind of thing too. You wouldn't understand these things because you're trans. And it's like, you're right. It is not my job or my purpose or anything to understand you, like everything that you've gone through, as a trans person, because I'm not you, and I'm not going to. No matter how much I try, I will never completely understand every single thing you've gone through. And not just because you're a trans person, it's because you're not me. We're not the same person. So you're going to have to explain things to me, and I'm going to have to explain things to you. Communication is key to getting to know people, and that's how we become friends. And the biggest thing I've learned is, just listen. Just be cool and listen. If someone wants to tell you about what's going on, then, do that. Just listen and just chill out, It's all cool. Everybody's friends. Anyway, thank you, River, for sharing your wonderful experiences with us and educating us, actually. I'm, learning shit every day. I'm okay with learning things. Magic School Bus was one of my favorite shows. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Let's learn shit, man. So, if you enjoyed this, please make sure you, do the YouTube thing. Like, comment, subscribe. Get on the Magic School Bus. I have a Ko-Fi, which you can donate to. It's like Patreon, but cooler. And I have a merch store, which you could also, buy things from. It's like donating, but way cooler, because you get a t-shirt, or a hoodie, or like a bath mat. That's not even a joke, I do sell bath mats. Shower curtains, too. And towels. Do you know what a duvet is? I do. Because I sell them. I don't know why. I was given this power, and I abused it greatly. I love you all! So yeah, check out those things. And if you'd like to share your own stories with me, r/Moonhorse Stories, it's there. You can do that. And that's about it. I love you guys so very much. And I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everybody.